Welcome to the Talking Shh podcast. That's right. We'll be talking about music, albums, live shows, bands we love, bands not so much. Again, we're talking shh. Join me, Scott Nokon, and Stephen James. Hey guys, we are back. Episode. Why I just develop an accent, Stephen? I don't know why, but episode 48. So tonight, special show for you guys. Special show, sporting the Motley Crüe "Too Fast for Love." There's Vince Neil, in case you didn't know, right there.
For those that didn't know, that's Vince Neil.
Yeah, right there. It almost looks like I
you have
my hands. If I move my hands, right?
Yeah, you have
I look like I have a very contorted torso.
Very cool.
Isn't that a band from like '87?
Might be.
That was on Atco Records, Contorted Torso.
I think so.
Yeah. We'll talk about them in the future. We might use that name.
You know what you call a contortionist from the Philippines? A manila folder.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a backflip. I don't know. Yeah. And I'm Filipino, so I can say that. It's
look at you. There you go.
So tonight, episode 48, Too Fast for Love, the birth of Motley Crüe. So Stephen, just this week, and we put the show together on a Thursday. And before we get started, there we go. Got a little beverage for this evening. So cheers. There we go.
Cheers.
Wait, almost there.
Ching, ching.
All right.
Yeah, I'm reversed. I don't know why I can't get that.
That hits the spot, let me tell you. But nice. In our last episode, which is out now, this is 48, that'd be 47. We did Motley Crüe, the history and the influence of rock's wildest band. That's out on Spotify and wherever you stream. That's dropping Monday, on wherever you stream. So you'll be able to check that out before you listen to this. But in that, we take liberties, Stephen, right? Anyway, so episode 48, and the last episode we started talking about, which you would have seen by now, it'll be posted on YouTube very, very soon. But we took a number of snippets of shorts, and let me just run through a couple of the topics, if I may, real quick. And it leads right into why we wanted to do this. And we're going to do, surprise, Stephen, for the next few weeks, we're going to do let's do the first 5 Motley Crüe records, right? So we're going to focus on Too Fast for Love tonight. Then we're going to do Shout at the Devil. Then we're going to do
the Theater
of Pain. Is it Dr. Feelgood, then Girls? I believe that's the order.
Yeah.
The last 2 I might have flipped, but either way, we thought it'd be cool to highlight those. But some of the little video snippets that are out on YouTube now, and a lot of views and a lot of new subscribers too. So we appreciate it. Thank you, new subscribers. We worship you. We thank you for taking a few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to click some buttons.
Thank you.
But some topics out there. Nikki Sixx's miraculous survival. Wow, I just imagine this is a talk show, and if I get through all that. We did other ones tied into Motley Crüe, exploring the iconic rock hits of Home Sweet Home and more. We certainly did some focus on this record, but we're really going to go into all details. And then we threw some Deftones. Deftones was another band that really resonated on the socials in the last couple days as well. So
you got to see live, which is amazing.
I did, and I would like to do so. We'll have this coming up. We'll do a whole show dedicated to the Deftones as well. And I'm not the only one I love that band. I've seen them play since '94, many times, dozens of times. But really, in the last couple of years, they just shot up to a arena headliner. Like in LA at the Forum, they played 2 sold-out nights at the Forum.
That's amazing.
March. So it's wild, and some because we like to do some research and talk to the people, right, Stephen? Some of the feedback I got from the younger kids out there, not to be confused with what you see right in front of us. The younger kids are like, yeah, they're crazy on TikTok. They're all over the place. So what do you know?
And tonight, there's an extension on it not being sold too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So that's going to continue. So we're out there as well. We don't post too often, but if we do, check it out. So again, anywhere you can find, anywhere you can stream, and then on YouTube. And then if you want to go to 99 WNRR, you can click on the merch store, and we got some talking shit or talking shh. I'll get through it, Steven. Talking shh gear. Talking shh gear. So, Too Fast for Love. So this is talking shh, and we're talking Motley Crüe tonight. Too Fast for Love. We're gonna dig into this iconic record, Too Fast for Love, and explore the debut album of one of the rock's most notorious bands. Before the fame, before the headlines, and before the stadium tours, which have been talked about a lot, and crazy that they jump back up to stadium tours just a couple summers back with Def Leppard and Poison, Motley Crüe was clawing their way through the Sunset Strip.
Yep.
Too Fast for Love was self-produced for just $6,000 and initially released independently on Leathür Records. So if you have a copy on Leathür Records, I applaud you. I have a copy not on Leathür Records. This is on Elektra, right? Elektra Records. But still, this is what, 42, 43, 44 years old. So hey, it's all still in one piece, Stephen. So I appreciate the vinyl. I have the plastic sleeves on every one of them. I'm kind of the purist. I don't like crimped, bent corners on any of that stuff. And when I'm listening to it, I have a little frame. I put the album sleeve on.
You're not using it as a water coaster.
I'm not doing that. The rawness, the swagger, the energy, it lit a fire really in the early metal scene. And we're going to go through this and we're going to riff back and forth like we always do. But Stephen, I went back and listened to this record the last couple of days to my to and fro work.
Yep.
And let me tell you, son of a bitch, that's a good flipping record.
It is.
Let's just go through the tracks and
real quick. Let me just throw out real quick.
No, please.
When this album first came out, a buddy of mine turned me on to him, and he's like, "I got 2 tickets." I know I've said this on a couple of shows. I'm gonna make it quick because I know we got to get through stuff.
No,
I was young. I don't. What year was that? Did it come out? You have the date?
Yeah, it's 81.
Junior high. Just going junior high to high school. I said, "Dad, hey, I'm gonna go to this concert in Santa Monica." He's like, "No, you're not going." So what did I do? I was a rebel. Got with my buddy, hopped on a bus from Torrance, drove to Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Got in, got to see the show, got all the way up to the stage. Motley Crüe was like, "Wow, this is the coolest thing." And then I got crushed against the thing, and I weighed probably about this much back then. The front guys threw me over the thing. I went back and I couldn't find my buddy. He bailed out on me. Guess who I had to call to come pick me up?
Dad.
Yeah, that was not a fun ride. So rebel. I went to go see him. Right when that, and like Santa Monica Civic, small considering how big they are now. Right when the album first came out, it was very cool. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's cool. Yeah, and the thing about that, when it came out, and again, it just because and it's okay if you guys fact check us because we love the comments, and we reply to each one. So Leathür Records is 81, 82 was, I just lost my face right there. 82 was this one. Right, 82 on Elektra, but it's the same record. It's basically their demo that they took for $6,000, and Elektra scooped it up for a modest sum and then put it out. But self-produced, that basically a demo. And I was pulling up really quick, Stephen, because I came across that Santa Monica Civic, so I wanted to see if I can fly this in really quick. Because I was too young. Like, I guess I could have just, did what you did, but then it would have been a longer drive back because I was down like in South Orange County. Let's see if I can load this up or not. And if not,
it would have been a longer drive there to pick you up too.
Yeah. So in that, we commented this really on our very, very, very first shows about, riding bikes to shows and going out to different places, and it was more a matter of I just didn't like adapt myself. There, you can see that real quick. That was a flyer from that show. And Stephen,
Don't see anything.
Do you see it now?
Nope. There it is.
Son of a gun. There.
There it goes. That's where I
Look
went.
at the date. Look at the date. What's the date today?
Yay, look at that.
Just 2 days past the anniversary of 43 years ago.
I was there.
Yeah, you were only 2 years old when we went to that show, so that's pretty impressive. Yeah. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Hopefully that didn't just blow out the whole screen, but
No,
we'll drop that in, as they say in the business, and we'll drop it in post. So let's kind of run through this. And again, revisiting this record the last couple of days, I just love the sound. Like I said, it just raw, it has swagger, kind of a punk feel to it. Definitely and not surprising when it was initially recorded, a 70s vibe. It just, 1 year, 2 years, into the new decade, right? So definitely had a 70s vibe to it as well. But let's run through the tracks, and then we're going to get into a little bit more detail. And I'm going to give on each one, Stephen, right now. So feel free to comment on each one. I'm going to, in this one, we're not going to rush through. We can take our time. So lead track, Livewire, explosive opener, fast,
double
wild, untamed, just a staple, right?
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about this next song, but when I heard it the last couple of nights, I'm like, oh yeah, come on and dance.
Yeah.
A gritty invitation to chaos, just simple, sleazy, and effective. I love that description. Just really basic, but just really cool. Like a cool guitar sound, just everything was just cohesive and worked. This one, next track on here, might be my favorite on this record. I know earlier you were commenting on some of the additional B-sides, which isn't on the original pressing.
It's on their 30th anniversary.
Yeah, and so those are great tracks, and I'll let you speak to those for sure. Public Enemy #1.
Yep.
Such a great freaking just riff, as it gets into it. This next track, number four. So as we're going through here, let me just pull up
I'm sorry, I keep looking down because I have my notes here. So
that's all right
for not being attentive
right
to
number 4. So let's see if we can see it. This
hey, get your fingers off there. You got to be holding it like this.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to point something here.
I'll point at it
right there. See right there. So you count going left over 1, 2, 3, 4. So right there. See it?
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah.
Look at that. Look at the grooves. Licorice pizza.
Merry go round and round. A slower tempo, but again, it touched on themes of addiction and alienation, but alienation, not alienation. Maybe on alienation too. Alienated. Take Me to the Top.
Another great tune.
First track, last track on side 1, right? Because we're commenting on this as it's a vinyl, as I just scratched it now.
Don't drop it.
I'm not. It's right here. So side 2. Like I said, Public Enemy #1. I could probably squeeze all these into. God, this one's such a great song. That's a great song. But Piece of Your Action.
Yep.
That probably stands out as my favorite track on this record. Just riff heavy, just dripping, as this description says, dripping with lust and attitude.
What I liked about that recording is that you got to hear everything. Mixes today are big and bold, but when you hear that old Motley Crue album, you really could just hear each one of them, whether in their separate rooms or they're playing live together in the studio. I don't know how they wrote it, but
yeah,
it really stands out to hear. You can really hear each one. It's interesting for me as a dynamic to listen to that kind of piece of music for early in the early 80s and how well that sounded, that album.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, for sure. And I agree with you. I was, if I looked up at my ceiling, I was thinking through just how it sounded, and you could hear everything. Yeah. Everything independent, and it didn't need
it is right. That's what I'm trying to say.
It didn't need that thick layered, production.
No.
And if it was, and probably in most instances, because even back in 81, 6,000 still wasn't that much money for a recording, right? Not at all. It's like, so how much time could you actually spend in there to do it? And you were probably doing a lot of just first takes, only take, and then adding adding some pieces to it.
But if you were to compare that album to some, let's say, some early thrash albums or records that came out, and you can hear the production, like when you play on your radio show, you can hear stuff from back then. You're like, oh yeah, okay. I mean, it's awesome the way it is and the way it was recorded, but when you hear how independent this Motley Crue album was compared to some of the other songs, it didn't sound like it was all jumbled together. It was like, okay, we got this, we got this, we got that. It was like I'm sure it was done on a 24 track, I would imagine, back then. So it sounded really good.
It did, yeah. And to compare in that same era, even a couple years later, when on, and not just with thrash, but let's just use that as the example that you pointed out. Sure, low budgets for a lot of that, and it sounded like it. This doesn't sound low budget. This has just that unique sound to it. Again, the rawness, the swagger, there was energy. You heard everything individually. It worked. The balance was there and everything. Next track, Starry Eyes. Again, it's like reliving these tracks earlier today and yesterday. It's like, oh man, God, I want to, and listening to it in my car, I can crank it up pretty loud and that's good. I haven't done a headphone listen, which I would do on vinyl maybe tonight or tomorrow, because I remember that takes me back when you would just kind of sit on the couch or on your bed when you're a younger kid and you had to run, you had like the cord that was totally stretched out. Now you can get the wireless headphones.
Your head was
and do everything.
Off to the side,
and then you had to be close to it. But it was just you heard everything. Again, on the vinyl part, it just brought out such a great sound. So much is now compressed with the different streaming versions. Again, the version I listened to today, won't say what streaming service. It was good. It didn't have those extra tracks, but it was good.
Yeah.
Too Fast for Love, the cover title track, right? Punky, reckless soul of the album. I think that's a great description of it. It just works. On with the Show, last track on the original pressing, a ballad-like closer about transformation. On with the Show. Yeah. Despite modest sales at first, Elektra Records signed the band in '82, and then they reissued the album with remix tracks. And so they took, again, the demo, but it was the same thing. I keep on going upside down, spinning it. But they remixed it, but it's still the original recording, just remixed, which is understandable. You take it in there. Over time, Too Fast for Love went platinum and helped launch their metal era. Livewire and Piece of Action still roar through the speakers worldwide today.
And they got huge. Well, they'd already put out Shout at the Devil, but I mean, they were growing fast when they did Us Festival. I mean, how many people were at that thing?
Oh yeah, what, 300,000, right?
Easily.
Yeah.
So that's an amazing accomplishment in just such a short span for this band. Yeah.
And I think it's true. Like, and you had mentioned this and you guys watching and listening to this again on YouTube. I'm glad, one of the shorts came out and Steven, there was just so much passion and it was so real when you're talking about how important Motley Crue was. And you go, Motley Crue was the band. And the segment, I take zero credit for the editing on that. We allowed AI to help us out a little bit, but it was like a perfect segment that talked through just how important they were and what it meant to you. And it was a great little here it is on this one right here. I know you can't really see it, but it was just such a great, a great snippet that really prompted this whole show that we wanted to do tonight.
Yeah.
On that one, this is,
that was seeing them at Santa Monica Civic was my first true heavy metal concert.
Yeah.
Glam punk, rock punk, heavy metal. Because I'd seen bands in the 70s with my older brother and my parents taking me to see some really cool bands. But that was my first in your face. Like it literally was a turning point of where I wanted to go directionally with my music playing and taste, where I was like, okay, I can't get enough of this.
Yeah.
I mean, I wore out albums. I don't know if I had the original one with Leathür Records, but that band was quintessential in what molded me into liking heavy metal. As I still today, I'm going to be 58 this year. Maybe I don't look like it. Maybe I do. But
Not
there's
at all.
some good stuff Scott's playing. If I'm driving home, that thing's blasted. You know, you listen to older people today, they're listening to like Frank Sinatra. I love Frank Sinatra. Don't get me wrong. But to me, it's just all about heavy metal. Anytime I hear
Because you
something
do it your way. That's why.
yeah, I do.
You do it your
I
way.
did do it my
Yeah.
way, and
Yeah.
Frank paved the way.
So, okay, I have to say this really, really quick. So the other day, I'm not going to say his name, but a gentleman at work. I've mentioned him before.
What's his name? Mike Hunt?
Close.
Okay.
Close. We were talking about because he asked about the podcast. I'm like, well, you got to just subscribe. You know, I haven't seen you subscribe yet, and you can listen and watch it. And so this one comes up again. I've already highlighted this already, and he goes, "Those are really cool tattoos." Yeah, and I just
you have an accent.
Those are really cool tattoos.
He's from England.
I cannot believe it. The ink stays on his body.
Yeah,
I don't know what that sounds like. I have no idea what that sounds like.
It's going on almost 15 years.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a show one time about that.
Well, that's because I keep him covered up.
Well, yeah.
Except for this. If you look at him closely, you'd be like, there's a lot of fallout going on.
You didn't realize, and you now do, that you guys tuned into the gun show, right, Stephen? You know, who knew? Who knew? But
the gun show.
Yeah. But no, that's true. And so there's proper care, right? And you have to follow through with that. If not, it just gets like
and for tattoos, you gotta want them because there's nothing fun.
You're not returning them. You may have a receipt, but you're not going to return it.
No, it's money drilled into my arms with a lot of needles and a lot of ink, and it hurts. But I like them, and I still want to get more. So anyhow.
Awesome. Yeah.
Back to Motley Crüe. And they've got a lot of tattoos, by the way.
They do. Yeah.
Tommy's got they're the beef when you watch. So real quick, for those of you who go back to the early days and look at Motley Crüe when they didn't have any tattoos or one or two, and you look at them now, they're back,
big difference.
Sleeved, Nikki, Tommy.
It's all over the place.
Nick's not in the band anymore, but I'm sure he's got a few. Vince has a few, I'm assuming, but you know, that's kind of really where I also wanted to do this when I started seeing all that when I was a kid.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Sorry.
No, good.
Let's go back to it.
We got a few minutes to go, so I don't want to rush through this, but and we'll do a rush episode as well.
Yeah.
So a couple additional tracks, and you mentioned these as well.
Yes.
And why did I just totally lose my spot? I'm looking at it. Oh yeah. Okay, here we go. In the additional reissued versions, Toast of the Town as a bonus track, and Tonight. Tonight. Yeah. It was on the leather edition, but it did not. It wasn't on the Elektra. And they to your point, they went ahead and re-released it. And then you mentioned another one, which I don't have in front of me.
They omit.
Yeah.
Stick to Your Guns.
Stick to Your Guns, yeah.
Which is a great song. And there's a really interesting bridge that goes almost jazzy, which is like, I guess I don't know if I call it jazz. And there's a really interesting bridge that just seems to not even fit at all in that song. And then when you hear it, you're like, that totally fits in this song.
Yeah.
I love that song. When I first heard it, I was like, why didn't I not put that on the album? They omitted it from a few of them.
Right. I don't know either. I'll have to look that up. And if anyone knows, please let us know. But in that now there 82 is when the Elektra version came out. So dominate in the local LA club circuit, the Whiskey A Go Go, the Starwood, which is no more, Troubadour, which is still there.
Awesome. Played there.
Yeah, Whiskey and Troubadour.
Right there.
Absolutely.
Bizarres.
Yeah, absolutely. The DIY touring, they sold the album out of their trunk of their cars early on. And then in post 82 re-release, that's when they got their initial arena exposure, opening for Kiss and Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
Ozzy was always and has been
Always
He's not a
huge
has-been, but
promoter.
has been known for always being kind of the first to kind of put down the hand and help up the ladder
Absolutely.
for new bands.
Absolutely.
Motley Crue,
Absolutely.
Rat,
I think Metallica is kind of the
Metallica,
same. Yeah, they do the same.
absolutely. Korn and Deftones a few years after that. So yeah, always about lifting the bands up.
You know, and
Um,
interestingly enough, real quick, back in
yeah,
the 80s, for those that didn't go through what Scott and I went through, there was a lot of competition. Back in the early 80s on Sunset Strip on weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it was packed.
hmm,
People were cruising back and forth. This is by the clubs,
yep.
Rainbow, Gazzarri's,
Roxy, all right there.
Roxy,
Yeah,
yeah, and every band that wanted to be a band, all you saw was hair metal, and everybody was just handing out flyers. I did it with my bands,
absolutely. Yep,
you know, and it was such a freaking cool time to
it
be
was
able
so
to
cool.
be.
Yeah,
It was so cool because you just everybody was happy, and this is when. And honestly, the punk rockers and the metal guys were like getting along. It was like
yeah,
you thought it was not going to be good, but it was like, oh yeah, we all embrace it. I mean, Motorhead, I mean, you know, Lemmy sat at the Rainbow in his booth every night. I went a
yep.
couple times. I saw all those guys there, mingled with them from time to time. But it just was such a good time. If anybody can Google back, look at the 80s on the Hollywood Strip or Sunset Strip and just watch how crazy it was. It was so much fun.
Yeah, no,
That's where
totally.
Motley Crue started.
Absolutely, yeah. So there's just so much history. Yeah, I agree with you. What you said. I almost called you different names, Stephen.
You can call me whatever you want. Just like I said, don't call me Rock Hudson.
No, won't call you Rock Hudson. Yeah, Throb Johnson. Yeah. So in that, sorry, I don't want to like divulge Stephen's other job. No, Rock Hardaway,
Tisk,
Throb
tisk,
Johnson. Yeah,
tisk, tisk, tisk.
Thimble Stevenson. No,
Yeah,
it's none of those.
it's not a thimble.
But yeah, looking back, I was watching Nothing But a Good Time. It's a four part show on Hulu, I believe, and it's based on a book, but it goes through uh, essentially all within that hair metal era. The early days, the mid, talk about the Cat House, which was fantastic in those
Oh
shows.
yeah.
Lots of footage of what you just described. Jesus, Stephen. I don't want
You can call me Jesus. I don't mind.
Jesus with us
Jesus
tonight.
Stephen.
I'm honestly, I'm almost
If
done
I
with that.
could,
Yeah,
if I could make miracles happen, well, I'm making a miracle happen every day.
you
I
do.
wake up.
You do. Yeah. Anyway, as we get through this, the Hollywood scene with the Flyers.
Oh, so fucking
Yeah,
so
and like you said, I did that too.
I live for it every
Many an evening, just heading out down there, seeing bands, and we'll do a separate show about that
that.
in a couple of weeks, just on okay, who were we playing with?
Yeah.
I've talked about this before, and I'm still bummed I haven't found it. But there was this book I put together when I was started when I was like 12 or 13, then of shows, and I kept pictures and guitar picks, and I listed every band I saw. Then I started putting little stars next to multiple times. In Dark Angel, it's like 3 rows of stars, right? And I
Nice.
keep on going. I got to find it. I got to find it somewhere. But in that would prompt a lot of memories back as to what was going on during that era.
Such a great,
Era.
such
So
a great time. I
so
mean, it's just so different from now. I mean, to think back then, if I had a time machine, I would go right back there.
oh yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't want to see dinosaurs. I don't want to see well, I would like to see the 50s, but that would
Yeah.
be just such a great time to go back to because every weekend that we could get up there, we went up there and we did our thing and we stayed up till 2 in the morning. And where did we go after that? Okie
Denny's.
Dog.
Oh, okay. I went to Denny's,
Okie
but
Dog.
Okie Dog too.
We'll
There
talk
you
about
go.
Okie Dog on another show too.
Totally. Yeah.
Those that know Okie Dog, you'll be like, I remember. I don't know if it's still there. It might be, but
Yeah.
I
I don't know. I know the
it was
name,
a
but
gut
yeah, there was
greaser.
there was tons of that.
Yeah. Anyhow,
So Motley Crue, Too Fast for Love, such a great record. If you guys have not listened to it in a while, go back and listen to it. It's such a great
that's
listen.
an amazing record.
Again, it's just raw. It just catches, as Steven said, it just catches the energy. You can hear everything just being played. It doesn't have to have the best production, but it totally works.
And my phone buying something on US Bank.
There you go. It was
You froze.
self-produced.
Oh, and I
And
thought you
then
froze.
no, then Roy Thomas
I thought you
Baker.
froze. You were like, who was that? Do you know that? Do you recognize this name? Glenn Felt, the engineer.
I don't.
Interesting name.
No.
Production: Glenn Felt, Ozzy Kipper, Robert Battaglia, additional engineers. Sorry, I just saw these names. I was like, okay, I guess they were part of it.
Yeah, they must have been. Yeah. Then Roy Thomas Baker, who I know that name.
Yep.
He was he did the Elektra remix supervision.
And also, real quick on in 2003, the CD released bonus tracks, Toast of the Town, which is the B-side of 81 Stick to Your Guns. So,
yeah.
And then
that was a separate single. Yeah.
Yeah, and they did a cover song from the Raspberries called Tonight, which is also interesting. Yeah. So this band, and they, if I remember correctly, they were all South Bay guys, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think North Torrance or something like that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I know like Nikki Sixx came down from like Seattle, right?
Yeah.
I think in that, but then they all kind of came together. Again, the Dirt.
Yeah,
that was a fun movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know we got a couple minutes to go, so we'll wrap up here. So recorded at Hit City West in Hollywood. That may or may not be around anymore. I don't know that by name anymore. Again, like we stated, it went platinum. Kind of amazing it's not more than that now. I think we'll have to do some fact checking on that for sure. Again, keynotes and impact. Originally self-released for $6,000 on Leathür Records. It gained a cult following at LA Sunset Strip before Elektra even picked them up. They were already, selling out shows all over the place.
Absolutely.
And if anything, either very closely or they did it themselves by playing at Santa Monica Civic without a major record deal. Livewire became their first MTV video. I remember seeing that. And a staple on metal playlist. The album artwork pays homage to the Rolling Stones' Sticky Fingers. And Stephen noted in a clip that's out there on YouTube, they really launched the whole metal wave in the 80s, paving the way for the bands like Rat, Poison, and Guns N' Roses. So, guys, we enjoy talking about Motley Crüe, Too Fast for Love. Go listen to it over and over and over again. If you have a old school stereo with a turntable and you got the vinyl, drop a needle down and let it spin because it's great music. And really, it's hard for anyone else to really match what they did on that first record. I personally don't think anyone ever matched the energy and the rawness and the purity of that record for sure. And it launched a generation and it created and made them rock stars. So, guys.
And lastly, real quick, because of Tommy Lee, this is where I got that from. If you want to talk to Lee, of course, I'm hitting my microphone and everything else.
Yeah. Thanks again for tuning in to the show. We'll be back every week with a brand new episode. Make sure you check us out on Instagram at Talking Show, and also listen on Spotify or wherever you can stream a podcast. See ya.